Hello and welcome to this next video on mobile repairing. In the past few videos, we've been trying to look at some of the other tools and components that we use along with the mobile phones. One of the important components that we normally use with a mobile phone is a mobile phone charger. Now, as you already know, a mobile phone charger is an accessory. And this charger is primarily used to charge the batteries in a mobile phone. Using the mobile charger, you can directly charge the batteries in the mobile phone without having to remove the batteries from the mobile phone. And you may also have seen that these chargers typically connect to a charging connector which is placed on the PCB of the mobile phone. And through the charging connector, the power is transferred to the power IC and a few other internal components before it is supplied to the battery, which invariably then provides the necessary power to the entire mobile phone. So in this video, we will try and understand the different types of chargers that you may come across. And we'll also take a good look at what are the components placed inside a charger. An understanding of this is important to determine if there is a fault in the charger. Many a times when you receive mobile phones with complaints of not being charged or whatever, you may need to understand how the charger works. There are different types of connectors. The first one that you see here is a micro tip connector. The other one is a flat tip connector. Similarly, there are many other connectors that you will get in the market. Recently, there are micro USB connectors and as well as USB-C type connectors that have been introduced in different mobile phones these days. But you will still come across a lot of these connectors for different phones in the market. Apart from these individual connecting point of chargers, there are also multi-chargers which are available in the market, which will have one connecting point to the AC and multiple charging tips at the other end, thereby enabling you to connect to different types of mobile phones using one single charger. Typically, when you are repairing mobile phones, you may need to purchase a multi-charger from the market, which will have multiple charging connectors at the end, and that will help you connect to different types of mobile phones that you receive for repairing at your shop. Now, before you open a charger to find out if there is a fault in the charger, you may have to check whether the connecting point in the mobile is working properly, whether the charger, when you connect it to a different mobile phone, is it charging properly? So if you can try testing that with other mobile devices, you will know whether the charger is at fault. If the charger is at fault, then you can try and open up the charger to see if there are any problems in the charger that can be rectified at your own workshop. Apart from these, there is also another type of charger which looks like a battery booster, where you can place the battery in it and you can charge the battery separately. In that charger, you don't have to, you can place the battery in that charger and connect it. So different types of chargers we have seen. These are single point chargers, there are multi-point chargers, and the battery booster where you can place the battery in it and charge the battery alone. In that battery booster charger, you have to remove the battery from the mobile phone and charge it using the battery booster charger. Now let's try and understand how we can repair a charger, or let's understand the components in a charger. For this, we will use another faulty charger. We have disconnected the charger, and in order to open these chargers, you can try and place the aligner at the ends and slowly push it out. There might be a small lock system which will open up as soon as you insert the aligner there, and using that you can open the charger. Some chargers will probably have screws in them, so you will need to be careful while opening the charger connecting points. Please open the screw first before you open the charger completely. So we have tried to unlock it using the aligner in this, and once you open it, you can see the different parts. The two pins that you see are the pins that are plugged in into the AC point in the main power supply. They are the ones which connect the main power supply to the charger. Now before we understand the different components within the charger, let's try and see where the charging tip connects on a PCB. So this is how a charging connector looks like. We've already seen some of these in the earlier videos when we tried repairing some of the PCB related problems on a mobile phone. So this is a flat charging point where you can connect a flat headed connector. Different types of connectors are placed. This is something similar to a micro USB kind of a charging connector which is placed in a mobile phone PCB. Apart from this, there's another type of connector which is where we use the micro tip that we saw earlier. So you plug the micro tip into this kind of a charging point, and this charging point is charging connector is placed on the PCB of a mobile phone. So different types of connectors are available on mobile PCBs. So depending on the connector, the charger also has a corresponding connecting tip. So the charging tip is at the bottom, and then it is the charging tip for the battery is placed on the top, and the power is supplied from the charger tip to the battery charging tip. Now I am sure all of you understand why we will need a charger to charge a battery in a mobile phone. Unlike television or electric fan or any other electric equipment, the mobile phone uses a simple battery whose voltage is roughly around 3.5 to 3.8 volts. However, the main AC supply that we have at our house is typically around 220 to 230 volts. So naturally, you will not be able to supply that power directly onto the battery or to the mobile phone. Hence, this voltage has to be brought down to the level of a battery, and more importantly, it needs to be converted from the AC to a DC. That is the only way we will be able to charge these batteries with the necessary voltage and current. And that is the reason why you will need a charger which effectively functions as a tool that steps down the voltage from 220 volts to say 3.5 to 3.8 volts and converts the voltage into a DC voltage. Now let's get back to understanding the components within the charger. Now we earlier opened the top portion or the external tip portion of the charger. Let's pull it out, and once you open this tip portion of it, you will be able to see the PCB of the charger. So we have now slowly pushed it open using an aligner, and once you have opened it, the PCB is inside, and let's try and slide out the PCB. The PCB is held with a small locking system inside. So you can slowly slide the PCB out, and you can see the entire PCB taken out of the charger. And this is the device that essentially functions as a device that steps down the input voltage which is received at this tip. 220 volts AC voltage is brought down to around 3.6, 3.7 DC voltage and is supplied to the mobile phone battery. So this set of small electronic components does the task of charging the battery in a mobile phone. What are the components? Let's try and take a closer look. The first one is a transformer. This is a step down transformer which also has a diode in it. Along with that, there is a signal diode placed here. There is a transistor placed here. Condensers are on that side. And this is a coupler which looks similar to an IC. So these are the key components that work on the charger of a mobile phone. So the transformer is a step down transformer which brings down the voltage and converts it, the diode in it converts it into DC voltage and then supplies it to the external charging point. And this connector connects to the charging point or charging tip in the mobile phone. Now when you look at what could possibly be faults in this particular there. Some of the faults that can be easily repairable are if the charging point or the main power input wires are properly soldered on. Similarly, you may also need to check the connecting point at the mobile phone as well. So if there is a problem with the charging tip connector to the PCB, you may need to check that first. If there is no problem with that, then you may need to check the connecting points of the input power and the output power of a charger. So primarily when you are repairing a charger, some of the things that you can easily do are the problems relating to the input supply as well as the output supply. The internal components, if the internal components develop any specific issue, you can probably go and replace those components. However, considering the cost of each of these components, it might probably make better sense to go and buy a new charger instead of trying to repair these chargers if any of the other components develop a fault in them. So in this video, we tried looking at different types of chargers and why we use chargers for charging mobile phones. We also understood what are the internal components in a charger and how we can detect the common faults and repair the common fault in the charger. We do hope you would have learned a lot about this. Keep practicing. Thank you very much.